G'day and welcome. It's round 2 of the Tru-Flow Premiership here in the top end in wonderful Darwin TRL Stadium. It's the brothers taking on the Sharks in round 2. The Women's Premiership. My name's David McRae. Hopefully soon I'll be joined by Donnie Bell against these two sides. We saw the Sharks last week in what was a reasonable first half performance go down to a barnstorming finish from the brothers. The defending premiers taking out the opening points as we get into the first set from the Sharks. Good run there from the 15. Again, straight down the guts. Willing just to take the tackle. Off to that far edge now. Almost gets half a breakthrough. Strong tackle down. Maybe got an extra few inches there. Was Harley. Spicer, I think that is, on the deck. No, excuse me. Humes dishes off into the right. Here comes the kick now on the 5th. It's camped under at the back. Will take well. Wants to dish out to the right. Still going. Good tackle in the end. Sky Cash wrapping her arms around, bringing her down, the number 1, McGimpsey. And we've already had our first penalty. Just a bit of mishandling in the ruck. First scrum down, it will be the Sharks' feed. Our officials tonight. Elaine Clout, James Irwin and Isaac Lane. Ball's in. Off to the right. Again, takes tackle. Thought about going to the right. Going to take the contact. In good positioning here, right in front of the sticks. Good spot on first. Dishes off to Crawford. She's got inside the 10. Slow play the ball now. Bears want to slow it down. They've got numbers here on the right. She decides to duck inside though. Don't know if that was the best option. Just dished off to her left. She's got space. This should be opening try of the game. It is. A little bit in two minds there, but doesn't matter in the end. It's the first major for this evening. Didn't quite catch her number. Hopefully she'll turn it around. I'll be able to give her credit for that meat pie. But the Sharks taking the first point. So they started well, if you watched this last week. At halftime we'll go through some of those highlights, but they started well. The first half of the year was pretty impressive, but they couldn't sustain it in the second. And it was definitely an opening round clash. Both sides struggled with ball handling, although we've been fairly clean up to this point. We're only 3 minutes in though. Big weekend of footy in the NT and in Western Australia. If you're watching from WA, hello to you. Of course, tomorrow the NRL's coming to TIO Stadium, just across the road there. Big game coming to town. So that one waved away, didn't make the distance. So somewhat of a compressed fixture this weekend because of our friends from the NRL coming to visit. So only 2 games tonight. It's the first of a doubleheader. Of course, the Sharks and the Bears will be backing up for the men's. Sorry for that brief interlude. Back to action. Riding solo tonight for the first half. Ball's in. Second scrum down for the Sharks. Goes inside out. Thought about dishing to her left. It's a good run here. She manages to get through 2 or 3. Megan Crawford. Slow play the ball. Dishes off to the left. Don't have a 9 on our team sheet, unfortunately, for the Sharks. The athletic dummy half. Humes has been in a lot. She's dummy half. She's taken in a big, strong tackle. Tried to roll out of that one. Referee says held. Mahoney Gilchrist. They're almost taken from dummy half. Thought about dishing to her right now. They're going to spread this inside. She did have numbers on her right. Takes the tackle. Second run to set for Crawford. Slow play the ball. Again, looking to her right. That's Fraser, Tallis Fraser with the carry. We're on the 5th and last now. What are they going to do? They're going to go Sky, loses the handle on that one. Cleaned up at the back. Does she have to go all the way? I'm not sure she does. She's run down in the end. Great chase. I think that was McGimpsey, was it? For the Bears. Wants to play the ball quickly. From dummy half. Picks it, goes. Almost tipped up. And the referee is going to have a chat about that one. She's staying on the ground as Nelson for the Bears. I don't think there was much in it, but it might have just been a stinger on the shoulder.
NRL referee, and he's been overseen tonight from our generous referees from the NRL that are up here to referee tomorrow's clash between Canberra Raiders and Parramatta Eels. They've stopped by to check out.
So many thanks to our referees, of course. We get a lot of support from our colleagues over east coming in to help us out here. So first penalty for the Bears. So it was called dangerous tackle, which was lifted over the horizontal. Wasn't anything in it though. That momentum probably carried her half the way. Tap and go now. Spreads out to the right. Wants to brush through this one. Don't have a 3, unfortunately, for the Bears. That dummy half is O'Connor. Ball's lost. That's what we saw a bit of last week. Ball handling. Although they want to play the game quickly, the dummy half was blocked on her run there. Had to dish off to had to run off to the right. Tackle down now. Fraser in that role. She's not going anywhere. Crunch down. Bears haven't done much inside Sharks territory at this stage. She wants to go for a run. Does Heo? In that takes 3 to get her down. Meg Cloesy in amongst that for the Bears. Slow play the ball again. Dishes off wide. She's going to kick the ball right down the guts. It's not taken at the back. She's made a meal of it. She will keep it inside the field of play though, but it is a great chase. She's ducked out of that one. Manages to get drawn down at the back. That was a great tackle and a great chase. It locks them in the area. 14, unfortunately, don't know. 16, sorry. That was Crawford again. She's been in all the highlights so far for the Sharks. And they're second, and they're just inside or just outside the 20. Sharks putting on all the physicality early. On the 3rd. Dishes into the middle. Not a lot of line speed at the moment. Just runs straight into the wall. 2 we don't have numbers for. Apologies. 9 and 14 for the Sharks. Again, slow play the ball. Ducks her head. Crashes in. 5th and last now. They've just managed to get halfway. So good defensive set from the Sharks. Here's the kick. The chase affected it. Down. Taken well. She wants to go immediately. It's a good drive here. Still going. Still going. That's Jamie Park, I believe. And what's the referee saying? Offside? Oh, offside. So that chase down, that would have affected the kick. So, again, that was our number 9 in the halves. Hopefully we can get an update at halftime of who that is. She's been in quite a bit. So good positioning here for the Sharks. Just outside the 20. Full set. Good crowd in tonight. Big weekend of rugby league, as we mentioned. Tap and go. Straight to the hands of Sky Cash. She crashes the line. Still up. Referee calls held. She wants to go quick. In the guts. Dishes went to go to her left. Was read well. Driven backwards. She's lost a couple of yards there. Still a good position for the Sharks. Just outside the 10. That was a bit of a nothing ball from McIntyre. Wants to just have a chat. Almost grabbed from dummy half. Ball got away though. Harley did well. Still going. Still going. Inside the 10. On the 4th. 2 under their belt. Line speed defensively for the Bears is impressive. She thought about going to the right, did Fraser. In the end, she manages to get a hand free and dishes it up. No more territory though. They've just gone perpendicular. Slow play the ball from the 14. We don't have a name for that. Here's the kick. It's a great kick. Horrible bounce though. They might gather it back. In the end they do. What does the assistant say? The assistant's going to have a chat, I think. We don't have comm tonight, unfortunately. Might see if we can work all that half. So the assistant, the man in the green socks. So those that are in the green socks, the assistants, they are the junior referees, the future of our game. And offside, I think, is what she's saying. It did bounce back. A horrible bounce. It was a great kick. Really well timed, but the beauty and the beast of our game is that wonderful shaped oval ball. You never know what it's going to do when it's in the air. She wants to go straight from dummy half and wrapped up in a solid tackle. She's not going anywhere for the first. Again, the Sharks with all of the physicality. Jamie Park's been in a fair bit. Again, a lot of pressure straight from the play the ball. She gets through that one though. Here's a good run from the Bears, one of the best so far, but she's driven backwards again. The Sharks bringing the contact. Again, they want to go from dummy half. They want to go quickly if the Sharks aren't giving anything. It's O'Connor for her first run. Quick play the ball. There's not a lot of line speed though. At the moment, they're just treading a bit of water. Breaks to the first tackle. Almost gets through second. Dishes off and looks forward. The referee says no. Still going. Clohessy, just I think on the 30 or the 40. Here comes the kick now. Reasonable set, 50-50 between them both. Taken well in the air. She's going to run straight at the line. Dishes off to, or ducks off to the right. Couldn't get through, so good chase down. Mahoney Gilchrist on the end of that one for the Bears. Again, there's some pressure from the play the ball. I like to see this. It's a bit of an arm wrestle at the moment. Referee's called held for the second. Off a run. She's managed some good territory. That's Furlan. Haven't seen a lot of her so far. That was the 15, I think, McIntyre. Past halfway now. She's had some good runs. Straight from dummy half again. Was wrapped up by the tackle and the marker. It's come out the back. It knocked on. It did too. So that chase down, that would have affected it. She just raised her eyes, had a look at the defender rushing at her, and that was enough to put her off her game, and she mishandled that. Lucetti with the ball in her hand and now for Bears. They haven't had much territory inside the Sharks half. I need to get a good set on in here, get some territory, put the ball deep, get an opportunity to score. It'll be the first scrum feed for them. This is off well now. Lost the handle on it. And we've seen that a few times already in the first 15 minutes from the Bears. They're going to need to find the handle on that ball if they're going to make any inroad. There's only 4 points, but there's another handling error. So the Bears give it up, and then the Sharks do them a favour and they return it. It'll be our 4th down, I think, for the scrums. The scrum count, if you're counting at home. Scrum in now. That's a good run for the first. They need to put together a good set here to the Bears. Referee just a bit of muck in the ruck there. So they're going back on the mark. Take two, start again. This is off to her left. Just got runners on her left again. Referee calls held. Fraser in amongst that was a good run from Cavalier Roberts, and there's another handling error. Don't have a 3 on our list, unfortunately. So the Bears need to do something about their hands at the moment because they might be covered in butter. Making sure we're all on the mark. For our 5th scrum now. We've gone just inside 18, take it immediately. So that was good defensive effort there for the Bears. They've been all right defence. Their problem's been when they've had the ball in the hand. She runs into her marker, dummy half. That was some not very good communication there. Off a run. Here's Humes. She wants to keep going, wants to play the ball quickly as well. Dishes off Furlong at dummy half. Another good run here. This is building to be a good set for the Sharks. Bears want to slow it down. Off to the left again. They've got numbers on that far edge. They can share it around those passes probably a little bit too early. They've gone inside the 30 now. 2 in the, last one. Where's this kick going to go? A good chase again. Affected it. Kick was shallow. Went over her head. Good chase down though. Taken immediately by the 16. Crawford, I've been impressed with her efforts. Megan Crawford for the Sharks. Slow play the ball straight from dummy half again. There's a number 3 we don't have a name for. Apologies at home. Just want to see 5 decent tackles from the women in red and black. They haven't had a decent set for a while. Get some good territory. They could spread this well now. And on the end of that, Maddie Patrick for the Sharks. It's her first tackle in the game, I reckon. Thought about, well, it wasn't a very good dummy to her right. In the end, she's handed that off in mid-tackle. Referee calls held now. Dummy half wasn't there. Managed to collect it though. She's dummy to her right. She did well. She's got numbers on the right. If they can make this, you have the toe wrapped up excellently by Sky Cash. And has she lost it? She has too. So a fantastic, well, that was the last tackle. Fantastic tackle by Sky Cash. She had a number on the left. I think that would have been closer for the Bears, but she wrapped her up, closed down that run. And there's this here again. Look, breaks all the way through. She's only going to have the fullback to beat. This is Jamie Park. She's off. You won't catch her. She's running in the next week, and that's the second pie of the night. Under the sticks. The big, powerful number 2. She gets a big hug from her teammate. Great run. She found half a gap and opened it up like a can opener. And they've doubled their advantage, and the kick, importantly, will be straight in front of the sticks. So right in front, will it be the first conversion we see of the night? I hope so. Over the bar, first 2 of the night. Extends the advantage into double digits, 10-9 0, and it's been all the Sharks if you've just joined us. The Bears haven't had a lot of possession. When they haven't really completed. Haven't been too far inside Sharks territory either.
Under 10 minutes remaining, Tru-Flow Services Premiership.
The runners up, the bridesmaids from last year, the Sharks, had to prove a point. They had a great first half last week against the Brothers. Thought they could have gone on with it, but went a bit to sleep in the second half. And it was all the Brothers. Put on a pretty powerful display. Going to want to address that this week. They're putting in a good half now. That's gone out. That's not a great response. And straight after points, the team in blue will get it again. Further down the ground. So on halfway now. Fraser takes the kick. The tap and the go, I should say. Bashing through there. Got herself about 9 for the first. Slow play the ball, although good run, line speed here. They've got to be careful, the Bears. They don't want to open themselves up. Brought down was Maddie Patrick with that carry. They're doing well at slowing this down. Again, affected the kick. That went forward. So, seeing some glimpses here from the Bears. Referee just wants to have a chat to the assistant. Double knock on. So my mail has it that the referee is on debut. Referee Lane, I believe. Ably assisted by Ellie Clout and James Irwin, I believe, on the sideline. Some good junior reps in the referee ranks coming up. Representing. I'm going to assume that the referee tonight on debut is a local. Oh, it's from a run. Spread it well, but defensively the Bears had that covered. They read it pretty well. That wasn't a whistle on our ground. So Mahoney Gilchrist, good tackling there. Strong tackle. So the Bears can tackle hard. They can run down defensively when they need to. They've got to spread this half a gap. That's the danger there. Good run for Harley for the Sharks. Again, they're not interested in going quick off the play of the ball. Don't have a number for the 24, though crashes through. I'd like to know who she is so we can give her the kudos. 2 in the bag. Off a standing start was McIntyre. Manages to get an extra couple of yards on the last, just outside the 10. Dishes off. She's sort of half dummied for a run through on the 24. Here comes the kick. Should be cleaned up at the back. She'll stay inside. Here's the return. She was in two minds there. Saw the contact coming. Minhio absolutely wrapped her up. Again, great defensive set from the Sharks, giving them nothing. They're pretty much back to the point. Off a standing start now. Big unit here for the Bears. At the moment, there's 3 of them. And one of them was Jaden Linus, I should say. Slow to get to her feet. Slow play the ball. Dishes this wide. Goes inside, outside. Was read like a book. I can see that coming. And so could the Sharks. They're treading water a bit at the moment. The Bears on the 4th. Tries to go inside. There wasn't really much of a gap there. Furlong in the blue had that covered. Now on the 5th now. They need a good kick. I think this might be the first time for a while they've completed. The kick's not bad. We cleaned up there. Not much of a chase though from the Bears. They will keep them inside their own area. Megan Barker doing all the work there. They did a good defensive set here. They managed to complete, and that's a bit of muck on the ruck. As underneath that was Ashia K. Too high, says the referee. Tallis Fraser with the ball in hand. So I think they're quite happy to have a bit of a breather here. They'll be going at a mile a minute. Inside for the last 3 or 4 minutes. Tru-Flow Premiership Cup. Here's the tap. Again, pinch runner. Seems to be Humes for the Sharks. That was a better defensive read from the Bears. The 25 don't have a name for her. Hopefully we can get one at half time. Referee doesn't like a bit of the attention in the ruck. Oh, lost the handle on that. And that was probably from the pressure off the marker. She chased down dummy half, the number 9, chased her pretty hard, and she had to get that away quickly. A little bit more uncomfortable than she should have been. That probably affected the pass. In the end, it's a turnover. Bears want to complete it. They completed last. Taken past her. She had to go back, and that's resulted in her being driven back. In the end, Togo, she wants to go, and she can't. Just occupying this. Almost sat on her there, did the 9. Piper Heath, I think that is, who's been in a fair bit, and again, lost the handle on that, the Bears. I don't know what she was looking at, but it definitely wasn't the ball. Here's our try scorer, last try scorer for the Sharks. And I think we're getting close to double digits for scrums now. We'll have some McDonald's around the ground scores on field 2 and Warren Park, etc. tonight across, or not across, over there. Some other games going on. We'll get some updates on where they're at. We'll go through them at half time. Dishes off to a pretty quick run. She's been impressive. I think that's Humes, is it? She has been impressive. She's been a fair bit this evening. Furlan can't get very far. Wrapped up in a pretty good tackle. The crowd liked that one. Standing start. Numbers on the right. Furlan again, her second run of the set. Running into the third. That is the sign. This will be the last tackle. I'm just going to kick it and hope. Where's the chase? Is there something can be made of this? It's going to hold up. She's knocked that backwards. Oh, that's been played at. Is it going to lay in? No, it's not. Just kicked dead in the end. They made an absolute meal of that. You might want to see that one again. That was not pretty. What should have been a regulation catch and let the ball go dead. They almost gave up another 4-pointer. So great first half from the Sharks. Sort of carrying on from what we saw last week. So we might go through some of our earlier pre-game stuff. We might have a look at, we'll go around the grounds from last week. So, like I said, the opening round last week was for us, the broadcast, it was the grand final replay. And you see there on the screen, it was the Darwin brothers taking it out against the Northern Sharks. The Sharks had a really good first half and thought they might have been able to go on with it, but in the end, the defending Premier showed their class in what was a pretty breezing second half and took the points 16-8. And then we see across the other venues somewhat forgettable results there. So the Raiders, powerful against South Darwin Rabbitohs, and the Bears, who we're seeing tonight, put on a bit of a clinic against Nightcliff as well. The games tonight, obviously, this is our headliner game, 4th versus 1st. Of course, you don't really put much credence in that. It is only into the second round. But across at Warren Park, it is the South Darwin taking on the Darwin brothers. That'll be an interesting contest. South Darwin's going to want to bounce back after a pretty heavy defeat. And then tomorrow, it's 2nd versus 6 at Raiders Park. Just before everyone, I'm sure everyone in Darwin heads over to TIO Stadium for the NRL game of the week. And yet this was our highlights from last week of the Tru-Flow Premiership. Big bruising encounter opening in round 1. And it was the defending premiers in the end who managed to put in a pretty good display in the second, as we say the opening try here taken down. At the time, we didn't think that was a try, but the referee said no. He said right there on the spot and gave that. So we'll just waiting for some around the ground scores across over there at Warren Park. Hopefully we can get an update soon. Of course, this is one of 2 games tonight. The men taking on each other straight after this one, so don't go anywhere on Friday Night Footy on NRL Pathways. Around the grounds, thanks to McDonald's. Well, it's full time. The Brothers, 56, have defeated the Rabbitohs. So, pretty significant win again, or significant defeat. But the Rabbitohs managed to put some points on there. So, baby steps. And again, just calling out Isaac Lane in their first grade debut tonight with the whistle in hand, doing a great job. We might take this opportunity to actually go through the team lists this afternoon, or this evening I should say. So even though we've seen half a game of footy, the Northern Sharks, as we see there, impressive in the first half. In the 4, Adrian Furlong. We don't have a 9, unfortunately, who's currently in the dummy half position, but they seem to have backed up as listed, although we do have a couple of numbers missing. But impressive starts from Park, Furlong, Cash. Humes has been in. She's been the go-to runner as well, crashing the pack. She's been quite impressive. I'd like to know her metres gained this evening. And if we have a look at the Litchfield Bears, who are going to want to bounce back, they're going to want to put in a better second half. I've currently got a deficit of 10 points. And we'll see if we can get an update to those numbers in the second as well, because there are a few that are missing. So at the moment, you're just stuck with me, Solo. Donnie Bell will be joining us shortly. We also will be introducing, hopefully, our at the ground commentator at halftime as well. As we come back in, we've got some talent there to bring us all the updates at TRL Stadium. But for now, we will take a break and we'll be back for the second half very shortly. G'day and welcome back. Second half, the Tru-Flow Premiership. It is only David McRae at the moment. Donnie Bell will be joining us shortly, but powerful first half for the Northern Sharks. They left off from last week. Good, strong first half. Now that they finish it, you'd expect they will. They've gone a bit shallow there, almost made a meal of. Did she take that cleanly? No, she did not. And that's not a good start. It's not a good start for the Sharks, but a pretty good opportunity for the Bears to put some good territory on. Referee on screen. If you didn't catch the first half, he is on debut. His first grade debut. Isaac Lane, and I don't know whether he can hear us at the moment. He might just throw down him in a set. We've got Chris Foy as our man on the ground down there. Hopefully you can hear us, Chris. If you can, feel free to chime in at any time. And that is not pretty. Came off her knee and immediately turned over. And a bit of an injury concern here. Not entirely sure. I just missed that one. That's Megan Crawford. She's been fairly impressive in the first half. This will be a big blow if she can't get up. McDonald's around the ground scores. Thanks to McDonald's. At Raiders Park at the Gatley Shield, the Raiders 16 to feed the Dragons 0. And just mentioning across the way there at Warren Park, it was the brothers defeating the Rabbitohs 56 to 12. So there's no time off in the women's game, unfortunately, so the clock will keep running. So you'll have to listen to me for the next few minutes. Just some concern on the ground there. I think it might be a knee, is it? That is, yeah, Megan Crawford. She's been impressive up to this point. A lot of teammates there consoling, and the fact that they are there suggests that perhaps it's not as bad as we think. It is a knee. It's quite often the knee is the most innocuous one. Yet they're lifting her up. That is not a good sight, and all of our thoughts are with her because she's actually been quite impressive up to this point. She's been carted off. It looks like it could be a knee. It looked a bit innocuous, and often it is with the knees. So we all hope for the best. Hopefully she can go off and get some tests. I'm sure she'll be getting some scans during the week. But quite a bit of concern there. Back to action now. That was Crawford, was it? Good defensive line for the Bears. Gives very little there. Number 9, who we don't have a number 4. Want to quick play the ball for dummy half. Got a good run here. Wrapped up in a big tackle. Wants to drag it down. Did Mahoney Gilchrist. Slowing the play the ball down. Took that from behind her. She had spiderweb hands. Spider-Man hands. Spider-Woman hands. Inside the park now. Here comes the kick straight down the guts. Fraser on the end of that one. It's going to bounce horribly well. She takes it under her wing though. Easy as you like. Gets through one. Can't get through the other. That was either Lachetti or McGlimpsey. I'm not sure which. No, McGlimpsey, sorry. Straight from dummy half to Cloessy now. Just slows down, expecting the hard hit to come. And it was McIntyre on the end of that for the Sharks. Slows the play down. At dummy half, O'Connor. Dishes off inside. Bashes through. Can't get through. They just need to complete here. I want to see the girls in red complete a set. Drag down. There's the kick. Holds up, but will be easily cleaned up at the back. This is Hio. She's got a bit of toe on her. O'Connor though. And Lachetti stopping her from going anywhere for the Bears. Slow play the ball now. Good line speed there, though she got to be careful there, opening up a gap. I think that was Mahoney Gilchrist coming off the line. Almost look forward that one. Referee says no. He's making some good yardage here, are the Sharks. They do look dangerous when they have the ball in their hand. To get a dish off to this broadcast wing now. She's got a lot of toes. Is that a try scorer from earlier in the game? I think it is. Jamie Park with running a full at least 70. And is that referee saying that went forwards? Apparently. Good comms from the assistant. So a first scrum for the half. We had a few in the first.
We'd just like to acknowledge once again our partner for this year's Premiership, the Tru-Flow services. Northern Sharks 10 points. Litchfield Bears yet to score.
Ball in, dishes off. Just not a lot of speed offensively, although here's some toe here. Kept hold of that ball pretty well. Good run from the three, who we unfortunately don't have a name for on the team sheet. That was a good, wasn't too good though. Off to the right. Here's some little shoots for the Bears. They want to complete here. They haven't had one for a while. Slow play the ball. Goes inside from a standing start. Puts her arm out. Wants to bash through. Good strong drive from Barker. That dummy half O'Connor wants to go quickly. This is off to her right. Read well by the defensive line. It's not a bad set, probably the best so far for the Bears. Here comes the line here, smashed in the tackle. Was the 13 that we don't have a name for. Cleaning it up at the back is Cavalier Roberts though. Or Cavalier Roberts. If I'm mispronouncing that, I apologise. It is a turnover though, it's changeover now. And with the ball in hand is Fraser, Tallis Fraser for the Sharks. Dishes off into the middle of the ground, just a settling tackle. Had to take that rather uncomfortably, but now says, get out of my way, the 24 for the Sharks. Pass was a little bit over her head, a little bit high. Ducks inside of that one, saw it coming, couldn't take the tackle. This is a great run here for the third, is it? Fantastic. Half a gap everywhere. Cut it open, immediately taken from the marker, managed to have her hands free, get rid of it. She thought of dishing to the left. Takes the contact. Bit of muck on the ruck. Referee just wants to calm it down. That's will suit the Bears. So, very good evening to my St George friend, Donnie Bell, who joins me on the comms now, mate.
How you going, mate? Obviously, traffic on a Friday afternoon, not the best. What's going on so far? It looks like a nice tight contest.
Yeah, look, it's been the Sharks again impressive in the first half. So we've had a bit of a mixed bag, as we say. A good strong tackle here from the 24. We don't have a number for her, unfortunately. We have had an injury though. I think it's Harley that's gone off what appears to be as a knee injury. Seriously for the Sharks. There was a bit of concern around then.
That's a big blow. Today, Harley, I was really impressed with her last week.
And she's been impressive in the first half as well. And it's one of those situations that looked innocuous, and the ones that look innocuous are always the ones that are the worst. There was quite...
So no contact?
It didn't look like a lot. It actually was a loose ball. Came off straight from a scrum and horrible pass, hit the runner on the legs and then cleaned up. And I think she's just contact is a little bit low, but it looked innocuous. But immediately everyone was pretty concerned. Had to stand under that. Did Faith Walsh. There's a few numbers we don't have, Donnie.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a bit the same last week for the Northern Sharks. We sort of had 1 to 20, and then there's a couple that we didn't have, but one that we definitely do have, Min Yeo. She was
I want
good last week.
I want to see her get more of the ball, because when she does, it appears that things are happening. She hasn't had much impact though in the first half.
Well, gets up a little gingerly there. I'm all caught up. The Sharks up 10 points to nothing. Now trying to work it out of their own end, because the Litchfield Bears, they're finding it a little bit tougher than they did last week. A massive win in round 1, 52-0.
Yes, we went through that at halftime. Wasn't great. Jamie Parker, who scored a runaway try she's coming off. I hope that's just nothing serious. Maybe for it. No, is she coming off? I think she is. She's making for the sidelines. I'm not sure where the pain's coming from. Is she winded?
But she's gone back down. So she started going towards the sideline, and now she's on the deck again.
Yeah. So she has scored a runaway try in the first half. She's been impressive. So although the Sharks are up 10, two of their key playmakers, they might be down. She is coming off. I reckon that just might have been some high contact, taking the wind out of her. Again, hopefully she is okay.
The Sharks now with the play the ball. And there's a great charge. Making a good 15-20 metres there is Humes. They work down the short side. That looks like Harley there on the field.
That is Harley, sorry.
So it's back on the field, and now cops a high shot, although...
It was on the way down.
Well, as soon as she hears the whistle for a penalty, she bounces back to her feet.
She's fine, yeah.
She's been watching too much NRL with...
Well, there's plenty of opportunity to watch it tomorrow, Donnie, across the TIO. All the locals will be heading over there.
Yeah, fantastic. So, because the AFL with their gather around there in Adelaide, and the NRL, they're everywhere else. They're in Perth, they're in Darwin.
As they should be.
They're really taking advantage of the fact that the AFL have hamstrung themselves a little bit geographically.
Oh, no, I do like the fact that the way they've timed it as well. You can go straight in from Saturday footy in Perth, double header. Did the referee?
Well, there was no submission there. No. She gave herself up because of the obstruction, but the Litchfield defender goes bang. Says, get some of that in here. So now Fraser looks down a short side, goes now to Harley. Harley goes wider still, and they're right up against the sideline. Good defence there from the Bears. They just slid across and nowhere for Lloyd Phillips to go.
Defensively, I reckon they've been all right. It's ball in hand they've had the issues. I think it'll only be a handful of sets they've managed to complete. And they're not getting a lot of territory when they do actually have the ball in hand.
All due respect to the Nightcliff Dragons, but last week was more of a contested training run for the Bears, and it's their first real hit out against some actual stiff opposition. So we see another good shot there from Humes, who's she had a great run a moment ago with the ball, doing it on both sides. Now the Bears up around that 40-metre line. It goes to Lichetti. Aaron Lichetti and Laura Lichetti. Between them, they had 3 tries last week. The Bears looking to get on the board for the first time here tonight in round 2. Chevalier Roberts put down just beyond the halfway line. So it looks like the Bears, they go and shift out to that left-hand side. A little bit of room in front of them. The defence adjusts pretty quickly. McCourt makes the tackle. And they're going to get to their kick. It's not a great kick, though, although they might have been knocked on by the Sharks. So
there's been a bit of that this evening.
Well, that's a horrible kick, an absolutely dreadful kick, and it gets a fantastic result for the Litchfield Bears. Yeah, I've got a saying for that in cricket. I don't know what you call it in rugby league.
It's called a pie.
No, it's crap gets wickets. But
yeah, well, yeah, you bowl pies, yeah, yeah, yeah. Their kicking game's a bit from both sides actually. We've seen some opportunities. We could have also almost scored a try in the last tackle of the first half. Almost got blocked from the runner there. This is a good run.
Great run from the Terminator, Sarah O'Connor.
Oh, I didn't even pick that, Donnie. Sarah O'Connor. Hope she scores a try. This is their best. This best so far. This is as close as they've got.
And now Barker towards the line. The Sharks, they get numbers in the tackle. Slow play the ball. Plays it back to O'Connor. She has a go.
Oh,
she's big. Gets it down.
Oh, yes, I called it.
Get to the chopper.
Yes. There you go.
Sarah O'Connor.
I knew there was a reason in your head, Donnie. Good stuff.
I hope there's more than one.
That's the reverse commentator mocker, isn't it?
Absolutely. You've turned
the commentator anti-curse.
Turned it on.
Yep.
Called the try before it happens. That's the Tony Romo.
Good stuff. Well, are we seeing a bit of deja vu here? It's the Sharks again. They were pretty strong in the first half last week, but then sort of fell away in the second. And Jamie Park, obviously she's come off with, I don't know whether it's a head injury or had the stuffing knocked out of her, but she had quite a few metres gained in that first, so she's another big blow. So they're two down, two big runners as well.
Did you say she scored another runaway try tonight?
Yes, she did.
Wow, so a double last week, and one of them was a really long range effort.
It wasn't quite the 90, but it was 60, 70 metres worth. And she went for a big athlete too. She's got some toe.
Conversion attempt successful. 10 points to 6. The Sharks over the Bears on the Tru-Flow Services scoreboard.
And if you'd seen the first half, that does not reflect where the game has been either. So, especially in the women's game, when they're putting down the ball, especially on the edges, the conversions become difficult. So, when you're scoring other points, you can reel that board in and make the game look a lot better than it actually has been.
I don't mean to call you a liar, mate, but I walked in, you said Litchfield have struggled with the ball. I've seen them with 2 sets of 6 and they've been brilliant. So
again, we'll just the tech crew thinks that's funny, so that's all right. I'm happy to wear it if we get a Bears comeback here. Bit of partial to the Bears in the red.
And the kick-off goes down towards the sideline. The Bears secure possession though. The tackle made by Linus over the top. Hesse gets out a dummy half, looking for a bit of work. Wants to play the ball quickly, but might have rolled the ankle a little bit. Now we see a nice run from Togo, right up in the centre of the park. Right in the middle of the TRL Stadium.
Was that offside?
Well,
No.
They've called a dodgy play, the ball. I think she had 2 goes at it there, Togo. Tried to play it and didn't quite get it all the way back, so had another go. And
Well, I was just about to say this set was looking good. So
glad you held that back. The locals in Litchfield would have been coming for you if you had said that and caused that to happen.
the referee, Donnie, is Isaac Lane on debut in first grade.
Well, good effort. Always great to see some new referees get an opportunity at a higher level. stepping up through the grades. Done a good job so far?
Yes, done a good job. Ably supported by his assistants. I do have those names. Ellie Clout and James Irwin on the sides.
And the Sharks, they work down the short side. So they come back towards the open. It's with Humes.
Had plenty of ball in the first half as well, plenty of metres. Like to get some trackers on some of these athletes.
They've gone back deep for the kick, and they've still had to go a second pass. The kick into space.
That was well done.
The winger comes forward to it. Not easy to do.
No.
You sort of picked that up. Yeah, mate, as the winger coming forward to it with the chasers coming towards her at that speed. Picked it up cleanly.
Number 3 for the Bears has been good too. We don't unfortunately have a number for her, but she's been in a fair bit.
He's one of the biggest things with the coverage is trying to get all the correct jersey numbers. We try and emphasise to the teams to get us the accurate numbers whenever they can. Oh! Well, there's a missed tackle. Just stood and delivered.
Still going.
Shrugs away a big don't argue on the second player that come in. Powerful run.
Wow.
And then the next play, they make a mess of it. Tanea Harley comes through and adds some pain as well. Well, there's some physicality in that little exchange from both sides.
Just put her down. I just love that.
The Sharks looking to extend this lead, up 10 points to 6. They got run down after leading last week. The Bears have put the wind up them again here. The nightmares of last week perhaps coming back to them. Well, just caught there. Sky Cash standing still, facing the wrong direction, not in the best of way. The 23 for the Bears, another player who we don't have the name, but she's a real physical unit out there, laying some pain. On the Sharks players. So now they go across and it's with Fraser. Fraser goes wider still. They tip that on and the underneath line from the Sharks and the Bears. Driving Furlan back. Eventually allowed to play it. The kick will come up. Coming forward, taking it nicely. The Bears have secured possession. Working it up towards the 40-metre line. Out of dummy half goes Clahessy. And now Togo. Togo takes it up towards halfway, standing in the tackle. They can't get it to ground. Just a single play the ball on this occasion. The Bears get to their kick. Hits the deck. It finds a bit of space. Minhio picks it up, beats one, beats two. Can't get out of the tackle of the third attempted defender. And goes to the ground. It remains 10 points to 4. So now the Sharks, they bring it out of their end as we have a bit of a look around the grounds at Raiders Park. At full time, the Palmerston Raiders 46 points to 6 over the Nightcliff Dragons. While at the Rabbit Warren, it's Brothers 44-0 over South Darwin in that contest. So a couple of big scores again, and once again we've got the pick of the battles, the Northern Sharks against the Litchfield Bears. It's 10 points to 6, the Sharks in front. The Bears trying to run them down. They're looking to go 2-0. Taya Nelson gets whacked there by Sky Cash. They'll run. Chevelia Roberts. Willing worker. Bears go a couple wide. Dummy on the outside. The Sharks, they look a little short on their right-hand side, and that's the way the Bears go. They look inside to Togo, but take the run there for Lichetti. I think if she looks outside, there's a bit of space for some of her speedsters. But takes the tackle, wanted a penalty. They get it to dummy half. McCourt able to run a long way before she gets to the defence. On tackle 5, Lichetti again. They go one pass off the ruck, bomb across field, and it's put down by the Sharks. And here come the Bears. A big opportunity, 10-6. Litchfield will go on the attack. And a chance to level and even take the lead. Dave McRae took you through the first half. And he's told you how the Northern Sharks have been by far the better team. But in a matter of moments, they could find themselves behind in this contest. The Bears feed the scrum. They break from the base. A good run towards the line. Up against the sideline and out. Well, that was a play one, all or nothing from Paige McCourt. Gets dragged into touch. The referee having a long conversation with the touch judge. I certainly don't think there was anything untoward. There wasn't a second effort there from the Sharks at all. She simply run into touch. And it'll be a play of the ball. The Sharks survive, but she went close there, McCourt. Sophie Blake says this is the direction we need to go. Let's get back to doing what gave us that 10-point lead in the first place. Trying to milk a bit of a penalty there is Furlan. Another good run from Humes. It was Phillips rather than Blake with that first run, and here she is with another one, Kelsey Phillips. Up over halfway, she's leaving a couple of 10 pins in a wake. The Sharks go a couple wide. Tipping it on, goes out to Cash. Cash gets the pass away to Hyo. Min Hyo comes back infield, loses her footing. Late flop in. Allowed to go from Nelson. Nelson chasing from Marker. Out after Fraser.
Oh, well taken.
Well, that's the 3 again there, Dave.
Yeah.
Complaining about a little bit of high contact there. And gets the head pushed into the TRL turf for good measure.
Well, it's all or nothing now for the Bears. They need to get up the ground.
Well, they had a chance a moment ago and effectively blew it on tackle 1. Do we have another highlight moment? We've had plenty already in the first round and a bit. A quick play, the ball not allowed to go because there's a Sharks player down just writhing in agony. This is the 9. She was in 21 last week, and in either week we've had a name. She looks like she's going to stay out on the field, but was screaming enough to get the referee's attention. And the pass from dummy half, Lichetti puts it down. Well, they had a quick play the ball. Were on the front foot. They come back and the slow play the ball. Terrible pass from dummy half and a knock on.
I said it in the first half. There's shoots there. there's shoots are good footy. They just within the blink of an eye they look impressive, and then they just do simple things like losing the handle on it.
And there is the siren, and the Sharks, they'll get their first 2 competition points of 2025 with a hard-fought and well-deserved 10-6 victory.
Well, we do have someone at the ground. I'm not sure if he can hear us, Chris Foy. If he does, hopefully he can grab us an interview.
We got the toy boy.
Yeah, but not. Look, another. Well, it was a better performance, better second half, I should say, for the Bears. I don't know if there's many concerns for the Sharks, although they probably did the Bears probably did them a few favours in that second half with the ball handling.
Yeah, I think the Bears will take a lot of heart out of it. I think we've got a few very, very competitive teams in this competition. We saw Brothers and the Sharks had a great contest last week, Litchfield, and we've seen a couple of big wins for the Palmerston Raiders as well in the opening fortnight of the competition. So I think we've got a good core, good competitive core in 2025, and looking forward to some of the games throughout 2025 to see where they all finish up.
And I don't think the gap was too big between the Brothers and the Sharks in the second half. It was more so that the Brothers did wake up a bit, I think, in the second half last week and put a bit on. But again, we saw some pretty good footy from the Sharks as well. If they can string that together for a full 60, and the same for the Bears. We've seen a good second half here. If they can, take parts of that, go back on the tape, string together a good strong 60, we could have a competitive premiership this year. I know we've always been dominated by the Brothers, but there's some green shoots there that hopefully we can see some good contests. And whoever's picking the broadcast fixtures, Donnie, has done a pretty good job so far.
Yeah, there is another game that's still continuing on, not quite full time at the Rabbit Warren, and your Brothers up 60-0 in that one against South Darwin. So they're having a tough night at the office, and pretty merciless from Brothers.
Yeah. On their home deck too, up there at Warren Park, just over the way. You can throw a ball over there. That's half, mate. We might just take a break so we can just refresh for the next game coming up. Of course, it's the DABSCO Premiership. 80 minutes of what should be some pretty good footy. The Northern Sharks and the Litchfield Bears again. Don't go anywhere. Stick with us on NRL Pathways, and we'll be back very shortly for the Men's Premiership. Well, welcome back to TRL Stadium for the second of the double headers this evening. It is the Bears and the Sharks. If you just joined us, it was the Sharks that took out the women's in the opening of 10 points to 6. And what was a spirited fight back from the Bears in the second half. My name is David McRae. I'm joined by Donnie Bell, who will be with us shortly. Let's have a quick look at where these two teams sit from last week. The results popping up on the screen now. Litchfield Bears had a decent win over Nightcliff, 46-12. The Raiders defeated the Bunnies 46-6, and of course it was the Sharks that went down to the defending premiers 20-12 to the Brothers. And this week is how it looks. Don't really pay much attention to those latter positions because it is only round 2. We will get some scores, especially from that other game across at Warren Park, 6v3. I think last time I heard it wasn't great if you were a Bunnies supporter. Let's have a look at the teams as they just ready to come out, starting with the home side. It is the Northern Sharks, and we're hoping that they, as the Bears run out, we're hoping that they are going to line up as listed. Don't just ignore that women's Tru-Flow Premiership. It is the DABSCO Premiership. So this is a team that did pretty well last week. Had a good half in what was a pretty good battle in the end. In the opening game of the round, it was last week, of course, the grand final rematch. As we have a look at the Bears lineup this evening. In the DABSCO Premiership, as we wait for the Sharks to come out onto the ground. The highlights from last weekend. So we see some of them here. That was the opening try from the Sharks. It's a big, strong runs. It was a pretty physical game to kick off round 1 as we hear the Sharks getting ready to welcome their team onto the ground. The seconds. Pretty entertaining game. At one point it could have gone either way, but it was, as we see here, that was one of many flyers at the back there. Entertaining runs. As the Sharks, you can hear, making their way out onto the ground. We'll go back to live coverage now. So, as my co-commentator Donnie Bell mentioned, just as we took a break for the women's over there in Warren Park, it wasn't a great scoreline if you're a Bunny supporter. Just check the numbers, bring those to you. I think it was, well, I could tell you in the Gatley Shield, the Bears have defeated the Sharks. And we've got kick-off now. Surrendered there. No, error. He's made a meal of it.
Yeah, error straight ball from the kickoff. The worst possible start for the Sharks, and a chance for the Bears to go right on the attack. Because the first time we've had the opportunity to see the Bears in 2025, they had a great win in round 1, 46-12 over the Dragons, and looking to keep that going. As they've got a scrum feed in an attacking position from this first set. They don't look to put on anything too fancy from the scrum win. Now look now with DeBeld. Finds the hard runner. Flanagan waits at dummy half. Fires it across now to Warmington. Warmington finds the hard straight runner of Priestley. Spun around in the tackle. They work the short side, catch pass, and I don't know whether they practice that at training, Dave.
I wouldn't have thought so.
He was just looking to cut out the centre and find his winger. I think it might have been the centre's head got in the way. No, there must have been a Shark's hand in there. So it comes out, and the Bears have got another opportunity to attack. They look left and right. Flanagan goes left. Looking to crash over the line. Played again back to Flanagan. Out the back, it hits the deck. It's picked up by Priestley. Priestley dummies on the outside to Dixon.
Half a dummy.
Pulls it back in. Flanagan wasn't ready for the play of the ball. It was quicker than he expected. It comes out to Wedding. Wedding, they go wider still now to Heath. Heath with a great pass out to Packham. And Packham gets the first try of this round 2 contest, and the Bears will play from in front.
And what a great way to open it up too. Just fantastic pass on that far edge. And it's a good answer. We're only inside the first 3 minutes as well. I think you've got to score early as well if you're the Bears. Put the pressure on. They were ably helped by some ball handling concerns from the Sharks deep inside their own area. But they've taken advantage. When you get those opportunities, you've got to do that. So I can tell you, Donnie, in the people in charge of this game, Paul DeVere, the referee of the year 2004. Paul DeVere is the man in charge with the whistle tonight, and Isaac Lane, who made his first grade debut in the women's game, he's ably supporting on the sidelines with James Irwin.
Yeah, I didn't win many awards in my time, Dave. I did win the NT Referee of the Year award once.
Well, there you go.
So,
and you've won a media award, mate.
He's in great company.
Well, some say that you've been in great company as well, mate. You know, I'm sure that when they gave it out, they thought, "Well, I'm just really glad because I know, someone like Donnie Bell's won this." So, here's the kick.
That's a nice strike, but across the face, got plenty of it. The Bears, though, they're up 4 points to 0 as we have another look at this fantastic pass.
Yeah,
Harry Heath. That is class.
Great dish.
I mean, I know you see that stuff in the NRL all the time, but it is much harder than it looks.
Oh, absolutely.
Pure class from Harry Heath, hitting the winger on the chest at full pace. Well, it's been all the Bears. The Sharks knocking on from the kickoff, and they have not touched the ball since. The Bears, though, their first time with the ball down this end of the field. Working it away up towards halfway. Again, play it back to Flanagan. And now the Bears have come up with an error. James Beckett. He's put it down and it gives the Sharks, well, the ball really for the first time in the game, Dave, but in a good position as well.
Yeah, well, they're just even in the ledger, aren't they? Is that what they're doing? Although they're not exactly as close to the white line as they gave the Bears the opportunity of.
Let's see what they can do. So Micah Saylor feeds the scrum, goes across the field, one of the try scorers last week, but he sends Pearson back in towards where the scrum was packed. Now coming in behind the ruck, Salia. Talek Salia plays it back to Collie. Another bloke with plenty of skill in McCarthy. And Collie, after the quick play, the ball takes off. Gets the easy 10 metres. Gets spun around in the tackle. A second effort in the tackle from the Bears as well. That's allowed to go. Alden goes across to Saylor. Saylor sort of dummy to the outside. I'll look for shape now to Field. Field, he's going to bomb this one across towards the winger and lands in the arms of Gillett, and Terrence Gillett responds for the Sharks, and we are locked at 4-all with a kick to come.
Again, I don't know who's picking these games, but we've been treated to some pretty good footy in the first 2 rounds. I know it's only got 6.5 minutes in this first term, but 2 amazing, awesome tries. They're going to be doing the rounds on socials this week, I can tell you. Great off the toe. And hopefully it's a sign of things to come. We can go toe-to-toe between these two teams.
I'll tell you, a game with not a lot of defence of your own try line. No. It's fun to call.
It is. It's fun. It's probably. It's if you're an opposition or if you're a coach, it's probably frustrating. But
no,
you know, as a neutral observer, I tell you what, it's good footy. It's exciting.
There's a reason why pretty much the only job in rugby league I've never held is coach. I just could not handle it.
Yeah. No, you like those type of games, and hopefully heading off to some rugby league tomorrow. Hopefully there's some good footy like that tomorrow. Just leave your defence at home and just score tries. Just going all in brawl, just try for try. He swung that back as he hit the post.
He looked like he had that one on remote control.
I was going to say, it's a bit of a flipper there. He had that skidding into the batsman's legs, hits the post.
Locked at 4-4 on the DABSCO scoreboard. Only 8 minutes gone. It's been an exciting start to this game. So the Bears kick off, and let's see if the Sharks can get the ball from the kick-off.
Comms.
I'll tell you, it did a little bit of a sidestep away from them.
Well, they just looked at each other, didn't they? I don't know. That was Gillett. I don't know who it was that was next to him. He's got the ball in hand now. There you go.
Salia.
Yeah, just sort of looked at each other and went, "What's yours, bro?"
I think it was McCarthy came up with the error from the kickoff. I think he was in the vicinity as well. He's like, I'm not doing this again. We'll look to hit the edge. There's a good, strong carry. Matt Mallard. I think he was in the centres last week.
He's a big unit.
Just getting each other's way a little bit, and then they get in each other's way a lot.
Just some comms issues there on the fifth.
Well, a good tackle from Saylor on his own teammate.
Yeah, his second run. Straight into. Not a great kick either.
Not a great kick. The Bears get it in pretty good field position to start the set. It's Harry Heath who had the try assist for the first one for the Bears. And now comes the try scorer in Packham. And they're right into good territory. Another carry from Dixon, and they come out and put a shot on. A little bit of a push at the end. Wedding turns it underneath. Standing in the tackle, Beckett. Beckett gets the offload. And they're going to have a penalty.
No. What's it? Oh, okay.
I think just put him into a dangerous position there, James Beckett. Not playing in the advantage. Just wanted to pull that up straight away. So now Smith put down onto his back, and no one's been able to successfully defend their try line so far. As Wedding.
Oh, that was good.
Good defence from the Sharks as well.
Read that well.
That was Saylor. Now the Bears settle it through Jensen in the middle of the park. This is where they want to be. Beckett wants it. He goes out the back of him. Comes across. Wilmington. They go wider still to Dixon. The sliding defence, though, from the Sharks, they've got them. They've swarmed around them and take him into touch.
Well done. I thought he'd done enough to stay inside the field of play, but that was well done.
Well, the shape was nice from the Bears, but the sliding cover defence from the Sharks was
they read it well.
Exceptional.
I thought they had good coverage over it. They did have good coverage. I thought they could spread it. I think he thought about going back inside, but that good coverage defence, as you mentioned, Don, that was probably saved another 4-pointer.
Have a look around the grounds at try and get an update of the score at Raiders Park. The Raiders were leading pretty comfortably. They're up 30 points to 8 at home against the Nightcliff Dragons. One mustn't be too far away from full time either, so it looks like another comfortable win for the Raiders after 46-6 last week. We see a bit of a friendly exchange there between the halves, Matt Wilmington and Cooper Field.
I've been told, Donnie, that Trent Wedding
He played over here.
Over here, yeah.
He did. He played for the West Coast Pirates in the SG ball competition. Came down for a season.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've gone through it for the Gatley. So yeah, but with the brothers over the Bunnies, 56-12. The Raiders took the points over Nightcliff, 26-6. And the Bears got the points over the Sharks, 34-6 in the top end Print Gatley Shield.
Always important to make sure the sponsors get their mention. Very important to keeping the game going.
And Moa World Darwin as well. That's a grassroots sponsor, Donny. That's my best one for tonight. I'm here all week.
Well, we've got an error. The Bears put it down. I tell you what, the player that made the error, you'll be glad we don't have 22 on our list. So.
There was a few of those, I must admit. There was a few of those in the women's game that probably thankful that we didn't have them on the list. Although you called it out, the 9 for the Sharks, who had a pretty good game. She's playing at dummy half. We've got to find out who she is, because she's been sprightly in both rounds. So we'll put a call out there. You probably know who you are. She played a different number last week as well, didn't
21
she?
last
21,
week.
there you go. So
now the Sharks. Well, after a very fast start from both teams, we've got back into the grind, and we got a little bit of that last week as well. It at one stage it went through where it was just played in the middle third of the field.
It's happened a bit earlier this time though. Some good line speed there from the Bears. Up in their face, giving them nothing.
They're certainly closing them down. It's something we saw the Sharks do incredibly well last week. But they ran out of puff.
They didn't. That's right. They played a very, what was, as that's gone out, yeah, they played a pretty intense style of footy, didn't they, that first 40? And we did question whether they'd be able to back that up.
Well, they've taken a little bit longer to get into their work here tonight. Looking to go with the Bears. We see some good contact from Jacob Colley. And the Bears come up with another mistake. They've had a few, and the Sharks just slowly creeping up the field as a result. Their line speed has been good, as you picked up, but they just coming up with a few simple errors.
See that on the replay. It's always the same thing, Don. He's just hasn't got his eyes where they should be. He's looking at the defensive line while he's trying to make sure he's got that ball tucked under his wing.
What can the Sharks produce as Mallard,
good first run,
coming underneath, but good defence, good control of the ruck there from the Bears. It was a good run, but they then got him into a good position and slowed him down. Zarro kicked out a dummy half. Saylor jumps in there. Now the Sharks roll over onto their back again. Lockie Jensen controls the ruck. Saylor tips it on to Mallard. So now Saylor goes out to field, and they saw that coming.
Run. Took a risk too, because he opened up a big gap, but great tackle. Came in from last week, and he's got the error for his side.
Well, both teams have had some nice pieces of defence. We criticised the goal line defence early, and as soon as you do that, they show we can defend. Watch this.
They've tightened the screws.
Ball out in two hands there from Smith. Not sure what he thought he was going to fool them
bang
with there. It was a good shot. Cooper plays the ball. They're going to kick from deep inside their own territory with Wedding. Bounces around Zarro. He comes almost back towards the middle of the field to pick it up. And tracks back to that left-hand side. Franklin jumps into dummy half. He was always going to go for a carry, so it was a work of the second marker to make the tackle. Morecambe up to that task. Another run from dummy half from the Sharks. Sado Norris. Now McCarthy, dummies on the inside. Gets this, oh, he doesn't get it away. I thought for a second he got the miracle Artie Beetson pass. Well, that's got to be a penalty.
Yep.
The Bears player just came back through the middle of the ruck, kicked it out of the ruck. The referee had no choice. It might have all been accidental. But you've got to find a way of stepping to the side and not kicking the ball away.
Well, the ball went forward, so it was going to have to be, you know, he was going to have to call it back for something. Sharks weren't involved there.
What it does do is it gives the Sharks an opportunity to potentially take the lead. Franklin has to wait a little while for Ado Norris, who does tap it. Thought he was going to get a second go at it, and then gets told to play on. You tapped it.
Yeah, he just stopped.
A little bit of... well, he did tap it, and he probably wasn't on the mark where he tapped it, but they play on. Anyway, we get on with it. Colin goes across, stepping off the right foot. And around the ball. Bears make the tackle. Now we got Hall. Hall's important to what the Sharks do. Colling, dummies to the first runner, goes out to Sailor. Sailor bounces away from one, burrows in low and gets to the line, and the referee will point to the spot, and the Sharks take the lead. They're up 8-4, kick to come.
That was strong. Where did he come from? It would have been at least 5. Let's have a look here, if you can see it from here. He's at least 5 or 6 down, and he's burrowed his head through. Driven. That was a good dummy to his left. Too much strength, getting low, pumping the legs and getting a pie.
He did a nice little decoy from Matty Mallard that I think held a few defenders up as well. But they shouldn't have. They should not have allowed Samika Sailor to score there.
No. Although he did see the opportunity, he probably, those two on the defensive line, probably given up a few kilos. But good strong drive. We've only got halfway in the first half, Donny.
It's the Sharks taking the lead for the first time in the game on the 20-minute mark. And they've worked their way into this one nicely after knocking on from the kickoff and, and conceding almost immediately. They've given up 4 points head start.
Although it's been good structured footy. You know, they were handed a little bit of a hand up with that penalty, but it's been good structured footy. He keeps that low and he's missed it.
Well, could that be
Keeps
costly?
it tight, Donny, keeps it tight. He knows we're on TV today, you see, so he's just giving all the viewers, as we see the replay again, giving the viewers a dummy there, and he sold it well too. He sold it well. Reeled him in like a big fish. Ducked his head, driven through, meat pie. On a Friday night.
Nothing better.
NRL pathways, big weekend of footy.
Well, the Sharks, that's probably the best they've handled a kickoff so far.
Well, yes, but they're driven backwards. It wasn't a bad kick either. Puts them under pressure in that close edge in that corner. Not much breeze to speak about, but plenty of height. Give them opportunity for the runners to come down and put the pressure on off the standing start here. Smash.
They've done a few things well, the Bears, but they've also given up a few errors and a few penalties that have put themselves under pressure. The Sharks just working through this set. Picked out a target there in Josh Burgess. Tried to run over the top of him there, Gunn. Sailor with the kick. Doesn't get a great deal of depth on it. It's taken on the full by Heath. And Heath, I don't know whether Harry Heath wants to run straight at Adam Hall.
Just speaking about giving up a few kilos.
Wow. Fighting out of his weight division. He just picked him out and ran at him. Bang.
Come on, come at me. Oh, here's some. Oh, he almost got through. Just got him by the coattails there. Oh!
Lined him up. Another one coming. Salia. He's a bit of a hit man. He sets his side on a target.
He enjoys it. Tell you what we do.
Wedding looks to kick the belly of the ball.
Too deep. I thought when it came off the boot it was too deep.
It doesn't get a kind bounce either. Almost ends up the top of the hill. He's trying to find the middle of the 20-metre line. Looks around confused and eventually does tap the ball. Bailey Zarro. Followed up by Franklin. So 7 tackle set. And a slow play the ball. Jensen slows it down. He's been good at doing that. Lockie Jensen just gets in the ruck and slows it right down to a crawl. He's gotten away with it thus far in the contest. Oh. It's a dangerous runner, Jacob Colley. Whenever he sees an opportunity to run, he's strong enough to create something from nothing as well.
Again from dummy half. Gun, the running gun.
Well, after they had 2 dummy half runs, they were left with Matt Mallard. A tall drink of water having to get in to fill the role. Not the best of service on the final play.
Oh.
There's an error. The Sharks looking to counter-attack straight away. They pick the ball up. It ends up with Pearson.
Don't know much territory they lost there, Donnie. They might have. Don't know if that was much of an advantage, to be honest.
I think they're happy just to keep going rather than stopping play with a scrum. Sailor to Mallard. He fends away from one.
Burgess on the end of that one.
I would have wanted a quicker play of the ball, but Sailor to gun, some good footwork, steps twice, he beats a couple, looks to the outside, looks to barrel over the top of Packham, but Packham does just enough to hold on. Gunn plays the ball. They again go to Sailor to Field, short ball, good ball, running a good line there, Salia.
He's been impressive.
But they again do just enough, the Bears. Sailors everywhere. Rolls it in behind. Too big.
A little bit too much pepper on that one. It did well to hold him out.
Well, again, there was a tap, and then they weren't sure if they were allowed to play on. We've seen that a couple of times
Just play
tonight.
the whistle. Unless the referee tells you.
Good quick play the ball. And allowed to go out of dummy half on the back of that. Drayton. They again look down a short side with Priestley. Priestley wants a quick play the ball. Drayton again. They go out towards the middle of the field. Now Wedding. Looking to find space, but Zarro had it covered, well positioned. The chase is strong though from the Bears. They surround him. Leave him nowhere to run. Franklin with a carry out of dummy half. There's a Bears player down injured. The Sharks come up with an error. Well, there's one where the Bears definitely lost a lot of territory after the knock on. It was 15 metres further upfield. And a high shot from Hall.
Let go, is it? Wow.
It looked like he caught him over the top. Referee's got a better view of it than we do. Drayton. There's a player that was down injured a moment ago. He's back to his feet and now fighting to play it quickly. Punching him behind the ruck and punching through his ribs goes one of the Sharks defenders. Now Wilmington. There's a whistle.
What's he saying there? Offside? No.
The bloke playing the ball has pushed the marker out of the way and given away a penalty with the ball. I told you I'd never be a coach, and it's things like that are the reason why.
Just, what were they? 12 out? I mean, come on.
That. Oh. I don't know how you cope with that. I would end up with no players left on the field because I would hook them all at some point for the stupid things that they do.
This on a big case of Valium and a good therapist, I reckon.
We've all been there and done it ourselves, but it blows the mind sometimes. McCarthy is held up, put onto his back, and they've controlled him really well so far. Jacob McCarthy's had minimal influence through this opening half an hour. Dalton just clutching at the head a little bit there as McCarthy tips someone out. The ball hits the deck.
Good run.
Juggled around. It's all backwards. There's a knock on in there somewhere.
Has to be.
Yeah. I think that right at the end there, I think the Sharks, in trying to clean it up, has dragged it back in there, Bailey Zarrow.
So we'll just see this run here. Now that he collected him without the ball, but the pressure there has meant that he's had to rush the pass, and it's gone. We'll see it here. Probably out of our view, yeah, probably there.
So I think just got the left hand on it and knocked it forward.
But that rush out of the defensive line just meant the pressure was on the pass, and that's what created that error and turnover.
Points here in this last 10 minutes could be vital in terms of the complexion of this contest. Play the ball for Dixon. They work down a short side with Wilmington. Wilmington, he loves the tough stuff.
A couple of the crowd reckon there was something there. I'm not sure about that.
Matty Wilmington, he won't mind.
Still going.
It just gets him involved in the contest if he cops a little bit. It's Wedding. Wedding goes out to Heath. Heath tips it on. Morecambe.
Just probably held out a little bit too long. The runners had to stop in the end.
Looking for the kicker. It comes back to Wedding, and there's just nothing doing. It all broke down. I don't know whether he was supposed to get it on that play there, Trent Wedding. They work a short side play now, the Bears. With Jensen. Gets it a late offload, and it wasn't on. Great scramble there from Robertson Franklin. Although I think he's going to find a knock on here against the Sharks. That's the way he's pointing.
Unless we missed a 6 again, I had that. I think their count was up, but we see it here.
Let's see if there is a hand here on this offload. So he does get a late offload.
Yep,
there. Well picked up from the referee.
Referee of the year. For a reason. Doesn't look like Mars Labuschagne at all. Oh, half a gap.
Nice
coverage is good.
Priestley just throws that between the legs. Drayton goes on a little exploration himself, but burns a tackle. Wilmington. They charge up out of the line there, Bailey Zarrow. Used the footwork and almost found space in behind. Wilmington, hands all over the ball, eventually plays it. The ball comes across. Drayton tips that on further. It's with Smith. Smith. Leg gets ripped in all sorts of directions. He's flexible. He doesn't mind. Flanagan goes to Wedding. Wedding steps off the right. Tries to burrow in underneath defenders and he's put down by Mallard.
A little bit one-dimensional at the moment. The Bears, what do they come up with the last tackle? Was that played at? Well, it doesn't matter because they've cleaned it up. No, referee's got something to say.
Well, I think it's picked up by a player in an offside position.
Yep.
So he was in front of the original contact.
So another good position, Don. Just 7 and change to go. If the Bears can level the scores or even take an advantage.
Beckett takes the first carry. He wanted it. Wilmington gets it out. A bit of a juggle and still holds the ball, reels it back in and then powers over the line. Brock Priestley locks us up at 8-all, kick to come.
I reckon so. He was in two minds there. He had the arm free. He thought about the offload. And I reckon just that millisecond there, we'll see it on the replay. I reckon he's just thought about it there and then managed to, and you can see Zorro doesn't like that. I reckon he's been sold into that. But he's just a millisecond there, thought, I can offload this. But no, hold on, I'll just spin to me left.
I love that. I think you're giving him a lot of credit. I think he was juggling the ball. I don't think he was looking for an offload.
Maybe.
I think he was almost dropping it, and he's
managed to reel it back.
Reeled it back in. Either way, it's a fantastic try, and it locks the scoreboard up.
It does, and this is an important kick with heading into the last 6.
Nobody's been able to kick a goal so far in this game. We've had at least one that went close. I think Jensen's first strike was nice, but it was well across the face. Moves in. Gets a good piece of that. Never looked like missing.
That's fantastic.
So it's the Bears in front, 10 points to 8 on the DABSCO scoreboard. So we have another look at this dummy offload.
I'm going to, send your complaints to NRLNT at nrlnt.com.au. Not complaints, your feedback. I'll end up copping a text on that. You watch. Around the grounds from McDonald's, full-time at Warren Park. Tru-Flow Services Premiership. The Darwin brothers, in the end, Donnie, I don't know if I should read this because it's like, it's like the late news. It's like reading about a murder. The Darwin brothers, 86, took it to the Bunnies on their home deck, who didn't manage to score. So my understanding, however, Donnie, there is always a reason behind these things. So the Bunnies are doing their best to build a program there, and I believe they may have even had a couple of players in their first run today. So they'll be better for it, but it's a bit tough when you're coming up against the defending Premier in your first outing. And around the grounds, thanks to McDonald's from Raiders Park down the road. DABSCO Premiership. Tony Crow, don't email me. DABSCO Premiership, a fantastic supporter of rugby league here in the Northern Territory. It was the Palmerston Raiders 32 defeated the Nightcliff Dragons 14 in the DABSCO Premiership, where the action is hot.
I reckon DABSCO loves that you call them DABSCO because it actually makes us talk about them more.
Yes.
So
a fantastic supporter of league. They've been on board for a while, for a couple of years now, naming rights for the men's premiership. Well, as we see now, we're talking too much. Oh, he's gone for a bit of acrobatics.
Travis Packen's already scored one. He goes on a cartwheel. Flanagan!
I don't know what he was doing there.
Was that forward?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
He's just panicked there. It looks, yeah, he's lined him up, bang. So it was the right idea, but the angle was wrong because he's been twisted as he's come out of the field of play. He did have a runner there, but it's a bit difficult to sort of swing it across your back. Yeah, you know, there's only really one way you can go, isn't there? But plenty happening in the last few minutes.
Shakato Norris feeling some effects, and that's the symbol there, that the signal that he's coming from the field. Shakato Norris comes off, so they're going to have to have a bit of a reshuffle, getting somebody out into that left centre position, the Sharks.
Call out to our good friend of rugby league up there in the Northern Territory, up here in the Northern Territory, Mark Broom from DABSCO. Great support he has for this greatest game on the planet here in the top end. Tell you what.
Well, it took a little while. You know, Litchfield have really tested the boundaries of the referee, and they've got away with quite a lot in the ruck. They've been able to slow it down. They've been able to control the pace of it. Finally, they found the referee's limit.
Not a great time to do it either.
No, with just...
Is that going to find touch?
No! Again, not becoming a coach.
Yeah.
It's a theme tonight.
Well, that's a let-off for the Bears with only two and change to go.
Spinning out of the tackle goes Beckett.
Just need to complete the set here. Get as far up the ground as they can.
They'd love to
more points.
Extend this lead just before the break. They're going to be in pretty good position for an attacking kick at the very least, you would think. So go out to the try scorer, and a good pass and a bit of room in front of Simmons, who puts it down.
It's got spikes on it, Donnie. It's pineapple.
Well, Brock Priestley's causing some headaches out on this left-hand edge. He's put little in and aways a couple of times. That time he drags in the centre, and it just opened up for Simmons. I think Morecambe perhaps passed it a little too soon as well. Like, he hadn't quite drawn in the defender enough. I think he would have slid off and got across
Simmons
to him.
Still dropped it like a bag of flour.
Well, there's a great run now from Saylor. Saylor wants a quick play the ball. There's a definite second effort again there from the Bears, and they get away with it. And Mallard. So it all slows down a little bit. Now they try and head in the right direction. The final minute of this first half. Mallard's worked hard. Plays it back to Colling. Some high stepping there before he gets to the line. Goes out the back. They're going to go to the sky with Saylor. There was a chance to contest. Simmons has put another one down. He's had a horror couple of minutes. The good news for him is that there might not be time to pack this scrum.
We have had at least one stoppage. I'm not sure if our clock 2 minutes we've got left on.
Okay, so there's still a couple of minutes left
so enough
on the official scoreboard. So obviously the game clock on the screen, not the official timepiece. So they've got a full set here, the Sharks, to regain the lead. Saylor, he's been the Sharks' best in the opening 40. We'll play it back to Colling. Just goes to the outside. Flanagan makes the tackle. Colling goes to the left-hand side. They're up in the face there. Colling out a dummy half, has a look himself, gets the offload back to Mallard. Mallard struggles towards the line. Is he there? Is the ball down? The referee's looking. The referee goes back. He arcs the toss judge. And Mallard breaks his duck for 2025.
I'll tell you what, if you're Naylor Simmons for the Bears, you wouldn't be feeling too good going into the sheds. doesn't rest on one individual, but to make a meal of it in twice in the space of 2 minutes and give up what was a handy lead heading into the sheds. And this is a good position for the Sharks as well. A relatively easy kick. You expected they slot this and push it out to 4. But it sets up in a thrilling second stanza, Don.
Well, it's been a thrilling first stanza. It's been a seesawing contest. Both teams have had their time in the sun out in front. But it looks like it'll be the Litchfield Bears that are in the dark at the break. Field. His last kick from a fairly similar position wasn't a good strike. We want a better one here. He raises the flags. And it's 14 points to 10 on the DABSCO scoreboard as the halftime siren sounds. The Sharks, well, what a time to score as we have another look at Matty Mallard's try. Just gets the late offload from Colling. Carries 2 and 3 over, gets the ball down despite the protests of the Litchfield Bears, and they will lead by 4 at the break. We'll take a break, be back in the second half shortly.
As we just finish our dinner, Donny Bell, welcome back. TRL Stadium, round 2, second half. It is the Sharks, who, if you've just joined us, who in the last 2 minutes managed to snatch back the lead from the Bears after not a great series of ball handling by our mate in the 5, Naylor Simmons.
Well, it has been a real seesawing affair so far. The Bears have led on a couple of occasions. They do trail 14-10 at the break, and this
doesn't look good.
Well, this could be a massive blow for the Sharks. That's Samika Sailor, who was, for mine, the best player on the field in the opening 40.
There's a bit of deja vu here, Don. He's gone straight for the knee. There is immediate concern from his teammates. It didn't look that serious, looked a little bit innocuous, and just like their fellow team in the women's, where we lost a player to what looked like a serious knee.
Well,
is he up? He's up.
He's up.
Well, there you go.
He's trying to walk it off.
Just a stinger. I'm fine, boys. Just don't worry about it. Just needed a rest.
Sometimes those contact ones where your knee just
rings,
burrows into the ground. It feels quite similar to when you've done an ACL, if you've done one before.
Oh, I know all about that. I got scar for it.
So it's a similar feeling, but it goes away pretty quickly. And the Bears, well, another mistake. And here they come, and there's a good shot trying to make up for his error. Dummy and goes himself, Colling.
That was in slow motion.
Well, somehow they've been able to prevent him from getting over the line. Well, I think that's all fine.
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with that. What's the referee saying?
I think it's going to be a knock-on here against the Sharks. You don't get rewarded for slow service. He had both feet on the line and dived.
Yep.
So I don't see an issue there. The referee doesn't see an issue. The Northern Sharks and their fans, they'd be screaming at me of course he was offside, but that call hasn't gone your way, and the Bears, well, they survive after that early error. And Salia, geez, he's put some shots on. Puts on another good shot there. Getting them going back in the right direction. Here's Brock Priestley. Plays the ball back. Flanagan out of dummy half. Charging up Colling. Makes first contact there on Beckett, but Beckett spins out of that. McCarthy has to finish him off. Warmington. Ball bounces around Zarro. He eventually picks it up, steps off the right, almost comes out the other side. The Bears have to scramble to get hold of him. So now Franklin, he gets out of dummy half. Now another run up over halfway from the Sharks. Looks like Addo Norris, who he went off the field at one stage there in the first half. Good to see he's back out there, able to take his position on the field. It's Mallard. Collie looks for the kick. It's Jared Colling, goes to the sky. It's taken well by Heath. Step straight into.
Still got a head, mate. Jeez, it's on. It's on.
Well, it's blown up.
He's collected him with the elbow. There's no doubt about that. As the touch judge comes in to try and calm it down, he has collected him. Hopefully, we see out the replay. But he was going down. So. If you're the tackler in that situation, I'm not quite sure what you do as we see it here. Or hold on, well maybe not. He was going down, but there was he didn't make really much effort there to put any arms in, did he? So
Cameron Versteeg. He's trying to have an impact. He'll be called out. Looks like Jared Colling.
Northern Sharks, 14 points to Litchfield Bears, 10 points, 36, 43 to run. In the second half of the DABSCO Premiership, Territory Rugby League for Friday night footy.
It's a long conversation.
So I think it's just a warning. And again, the ball carrier was going down. That was it Heath, wasn't it?
It was Heath, yeah.
Yeah, so the ball player was going to his knees. And you don't really have that much time to react, do you, if you're chasing him down. There's no doubt he did collect him in the head, but yeah, I don't think there's much more that he could have done in that regard. And then a couple of handbags, Donny, just to mix it up.
Had a chat. Yeah, certainly Matty Wilmington didn't like it.
Sounds like it's fired the crowd up.
Well, just and there looks like there might be a bit of clarity here. I think that's Julius Appo.
Yep.
He split him open. There's a head clash here with Field. So Cooper Field. And just listening to the crowd, we don't have a 22, but I think that might be Julius Appo who always got in 10.
Yep. No doubt about that. He was called out from the moment he took the ball in his hand, and he'll come off, get that cleaned up, and probably go for a check.
I was going to say we've got his name now, but I don't think we'll need it for the rest of the night.
So we might not see him next week either if that's here. He actually does look. He looks worse for wear.
Well, I mean the cut, if nothing else, looks like that'll need some stitches. Get the stapler out. It's not a place for the faint-hearted out in the middle of TRL Stadium right now. The Bears and the Sharks going at it at 1,000,000 miles an hour. The Bears with the ball beyond halfway. Pass to Warmington. Warmington gets it out wider. It's with Priestley. Very dangerous edge forward. Warmington again. Bit of a banana kick back in. Zarro, he pulled out of that. A second kick from the Bears. That one's been played at, so they've got to get the ball now, the Sharks, and they do. Zarro sliding forward into second base. And takes the ball with him.
Around the grounds for McDonald's, Donny Bell at Raiders Park in Palmerston. DABSCO Premiership. It is the Raiders who held out the Nightcliff Dragons 48-20. Full time there.
Bit of a fight back there from the Dragons. It was a bigger margin there at one point, and they've got something to take into next week, if nothing else. The Nightcliff Dragons, but 0-2 to start the year for them.
It's a long season.
So they get to the end of their set. Cooper Field puts it down to Heath. He finds some room to the outside.
It's the Bears crowd is fired up, Don.
Well, they've
got some voice.
They have fired up since the little melee, little fracas just a moment ago. Brings the crowd right into this game, and I think the quality of the contest is doing the same. 14-10 the Sharks lead on the DABSCO scoreboard. As the Litchfield Bears trying to regain the lead. They've had it a few times throughout the night. A little bit of a juggle. They work down a short side. Wilmington. Perhaps a knock on there from the Bears. And he knows it straight away. Does Nathan Dixon. Just his head rocked back. The body language not good. Could they be about to break? We haven't had any more than a 4-point margin all day through the opening almost 50 minutes in this contest.
He knows as soon as he's done it too. You can see, if you can read, he said, "Oh, biscuits."
Oh golly. Yep. Now Mallard, one of the Sharks' try scorers. Backs into good territory. Collie goes to Colling.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here at Territory Rugby League,
Colling gets worked over on the ground. Mallard.
Good run.
Oh, another man that's been outstanding for the Sharks. Although he almost drops it as I say that. McCarthy steps off the right. Again handled well, this time by Flanagan. Now Field just kicks it straight into the Bears player. Not a good kick. The Bears come up with the ball. Not the best end of the set for the Northern Sharks. Here's Dixon. Well, he made the error that gave the Sharks that opportunity. Looking to make up for it with a good run there and a quick play the ball. Although the next run, the Sharks get back in the ascendancy. The good shot from Jacob Colley. The Bears work the short side into a dangerous position. I think that'll go against Addo Norris. Penalty to the Bears. Well, they've tried to be physical all night, and sometimes when you do that, you drive a little bit too hard, and certainly driven into a dangerous position there.
Around the grounds, Donny. Thanks to McDonald's. Warren Park just over there, if you can see. Right up there at the top of the screen. Warren Park. DABSCO Premiership, it's the Darwin brothers 14. Currently leading the South Darwin Rabbitohs, who are yet to score. And there's a reference here about no Dragons supporters in sight, Don. I don't know what that's all about. You might know.
I don't know.
There's a Dragon supporter right here.
I don't know whether that's
still
the Nightcliff Dragons.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to talk about NRL results. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty happy about the NRL results.
Yeah, well, the one that's just finished. I tell you what, jeepers. I won't talk about that one because I know there'll be someone watching it. It won't be. I won't like that.
Now,
for a number of reasons.
Wilmington turns that underneath, and again a good run. Priestley will play it back. Flanagan out of dummy half. He takes off. Finds space in behind. He needed some. He gets out of the tackle. And that is a fantastic try from Jake Flanagan. And the Bears with a try beside the post. They might be about to take the lead once more. 14-all, kick to come.
Just hold tackle, Donny. Look at this. So he's pushed. Look, he's a diminutive figure. Swung him around here, couldn't hold on to him too much. Forward momentum, like a pendulum, he's come swinging around. But just next to the post, level the scores.
You know what Jake Flanagan will like even more than having scored that try is that it was a fellow number 9 that got hold of him there and swung him around and let him go.
Yeah. It's on the merry-go-round with Jacob Colley. And this should be a relatively standard knockover, and they should take the lead back again. It's funny that we couldn't score a conversion in the first 3, and should have 3 back-to-back now.
Well, they don't get too much easier than this. Could kick it with his heel. Lockie Jensen to give the Bears the lead. Still takes his time, moves in, raises the flags, and the Bears, they are in front. They lead 16 points to 14 on the DABSCO scoreboard. So we have another look at this try from Flanagan. Colley puts him on the merry-go-round, but then lets him off. He gets up, goes again.
It's time for a shameless plug. Donnie, I'm going to do it for you. So, I must admit, I haven't seen the Mad Dragons post today. There's a reference about random dragons. So, obviously, there's an in-joke there. There's obviously an in-joke there, so no random dragons supporters inside. If you haven't actually, wherever you're watching from, if you haven't got onto the Mad Dragons, do yourself a favour. The gentleman to my right, I'll tell you what, he is the Mad Dragon. I'll tell you what, your profile's built bigger than Ben here outside of the state, mate. People, you know, I bet you if you walk down the streets of Sydney, they'd know, oh, look, there's the Mad Dragon.
There's a few people that stop me whenever I do head over east, so... Even a few of the players know, or was at the open training session today.
Oh, nice.
And my boys were suitably impressed that one of the players knew me by name and said hello. And
nice. Lovely. That would be a proud dad moment, eh? Now, is that offside? Yes.
Well, back here in a cracking contest with plenty of time left on the clock. The Sharks, they've dropped behind, but they've got a penalty right in the middle of halfway. They'll kick for the sideline, they'll go right on the attack. And this lead for the Bears could very well be short-lived. So Pearson taps and goes, falls over as he gets to the defence. The Bears do well not to hit him in the head. Underneath pass, not much doing there from Alden. He just falls to the ground. Here's a bloke that's not just going to fall to the ground. You've got to tackle him, Tariq Salia. Great carry once more. Pass goes wide, backing there. Addo Norris gets it out wide and a Franklin.
Coverage.
Sliding defence from the Bears, up to the task. Zarro goes to the middle of the park with Gunn, a settler. Tackle 5. They go the short side into the in goal. Looks to be too deep, although the Bears have to tap it over. It got a nice little bounce there right at the end and sat up.
Held up.
The Bears had to tap it over the dead ball line in the end. Repeat set coming. So we have a look at the replay. Here's that man, Jacob Colley, gets in a dummy half and thought it was too big off the boot, but it just sits up there. And the Bears with Brodie Morecambe. Covered it well. Saves the Bears backside and keeps them in front by 2. The goal line dropout's a dribbler. Sits up for Bailey Zarro. Looks to find space between defenders. There isn't one there. Alden. He takes another play closer to the post. Gunn. They wrestle him down. Good work there defensively from Wedding. Colley. Now a not nice run. The pass gets away to Colley again. Alden to Gunn. Gunn looks to the outside. Bounces off one. Spins out of another. Gets the offload away. They're right in the centre of the park. They're about 5 out from the Bears' try line. Verstig plays it. Colley goes to field. They race up. They force him back in field. And he's put down on 5. They go the crash play and great tackle around the bootlaces. That is a try saver from Benny Drayton.
Referee of the year right on the spot there.
Well, the Bears, they've had to withstand back-to-back sets. The Sharks throwing everything at them. They'd want a completed set. Jake Flanagan gets a little bit of afters in the tackle. He cops his medicine, gets up and plays it. That one's slipping up high again from Addo Norris. He almost gives himself up. The referee still lets him get away with it. So now with Jensen. Jensen in the middle of the park. They're going to kick from dummy half. Let's get out of here, they say. Put it up the other end of the park, and Well, that is... He's dived like he's tried to prevent a 40-20 there, Bailey's arrow, but I'm pretty sure that's the 20-metre line it's short of. Unless he's got a touch on it. He must have got a touch on it because it's going to be Bears' ball. Well, the Bears, they now all of a sudden have an opportunity to extend this lead. Cooper plays to Flanagan. Warmington gets the pass away with Heath. Heath dummies, goes out the other side, knocked down there by the Sharks. Should be 6 more. Up against the sideline, you'd have to say no advantage if they've seen the knockdown.
How splendid are the ball kids looking today too. Look at that. Dressed well. I'll tell you, there's one thing that the chief at NRL NT does well. It's just dresses people.
He dresses people.
He dresses them. I tell you what, everyone looks fantastic up there. They're splendid in the threads up there. It is a I know it sounds silly, but it's a great feature of the game.
Well, here's a great feature of the game now. As Wedding takes on the line. They come to the open side and a settler now for Cooper. He forces him to tackle him and Flanagan dives from dummy half. Did he get there? I think he's come up short and knocked it on. He shakes his head. He's upset with himself. Well, if he gets there, he's a hero. If he doesn't, it's a selfish play. Unfortunately for him, it's the latter. And the margin remains at 2. The Sharks still in the hunt with 20 to go.
And at Warren Park, just up there, the Rabbitohs have gone over. They've converted and they trail 14-6. Still no Random Dragons in sight, Donnie. And again, you might know more than that than I do. I feel like I'm behind the 8 ball on this. I need to catch up with my Mad Dragons before the game starts.
Random Dragons fans, forget the Random South fans. We want to see them everywhere.
Well, it's been a good week, hasn't it? So, and a bit.
And the Sharks bringing it out away from their end as Adam Hall has come up with the error. Well, he looked like he was trying to get an offload away. He's saying, I never dropped it. I always had control. We have a look at the replay. Did look like he was trying to get the arm free for an offload. It comes out there and the referee's seen what we saw and he's determined that it's hit the ground before he's got it back. Difficult to tell. I'm happy to go with the referee's call. The Bears with Dixon. Plays it back to Warmington. Warmington goes to Drayton. Drayton gets it on further to Jensen. Drayton at dummy half. Now to Burgess gets squashed. Well, Adam Hall comes up with a mistake.
Jeez, I think you're
and then he tries to force one.
Squashed. I think it was run over.
Like a bug on a windscreen. Warmington turns it underneath and Priestley.
Bang.
Priestley again runs into Adam Hall. Find a different target. He's loving his own work. And snatched by Field. Field looks up, sees some open space, gets dragged down from behind. They just hold on to him there, Josh Burgess. Well, he had designs on running 100 there, did Field.
Looked like he was running a quicksand there for a minute. He thought he had more time than he did.
Well, the Sharks trying to get out of the mire, down by 2. McCarthy just takes the hit up. Gets up, plays the ball. Dumming to the outside, Addo Norris. He's put down on 5. So look the short side for the kick, and under all sorts of pressure there, Jared Colling. The ball goes nowhere, bounces up for Harry Heath. Well, he got hammered as he kicked there, Jared Colling. Went to the short side as a right footer, was always going to be under pressure. I don't know why he went to the short side as a right footer.
Pressure does funny things to you, Donny. That's why we're not coaches.
Priestley, he's worked well down this left-hand corridor.
Well, that was a nothing tackle there.
They just burn a play there, the Bears. Burgess plays it. Wedding. He puts it up. And out on the full. And they'll come back to where it was kicked from. Not one of his best moments there, Trent Wedding. It's been down this end for a little while though. The Sharks need to find a way to hit the scoreboard. Hall gets an offload away to Addo Norris. Stands in the tackle. There's a few Bears there, but eventually hits the ground. Now Mallard. The worker short side, and again it's with Hall. He's been very busy in the last 5 minutes or so. Now they come towards the middle of the park. Field stands in the tackle of Wilmington, and he's driven back with the assistance of Brock Priestley. They drive him a long way back. The kick goes in now through Colling. He's found grass. Tapping it up to his own advantage is Harry Heath. Heath steps past, hanging an arm out there, Kai Alden. Lucky he didn't make contact, because could have been anything there. The Bears pushing out of tackles. There's Dixon. Jensen gets a quick play of the ball. The kick from dummy half. I don't know that he's got much of that though. Sits up kindly for Franklin. The chase is good though from Litchfield. Leave him nowhere to go. No broken field running there for Robertson Franklin. So Bailey Zarrow. Slow play of the ball. There's a good run. None other than Tarek Salia. A good run. It comes up with a mistake at the end of it. He comes off the back fence like he has done all game. His hands around the ball. You'd say just making a tackle. Slips off the tackle and the ball comes free. Benny Drayton comes up with another good defensive play.
Just feel like this game's just ready to be broken open, Don. Just sort of waiting for something to happen.
Well, next point's incredibly vital either way. I think if the Bears can score next, it might just break the hearts of the Northern Sharks. They ran out of puff somewhat last week. Are they going to suffer the same fate at the back end of this contest? Got about 13 left to play. Wedding, short ball. Riley Cooper. He's put down. Flanagan to dummy half. Wedding dummies to the first one. Goes out to Wilmington. Wilmington tips it on to Priestley. On tackle 5. Wilmington, he's going to go to the line before putting a little kick into space. It sits up kindly for Bailey Zarro. But there's plenty of bears in his face. Well, they're right up the wrong end of the park. And the Bears, they are managing this game into the ground right now. Doing everything right.
Need that stats person, Donny. Oh, that's a horrible pass.
They get away with it.
Again, don't know how long it's been inside their own end, the Sharks.
That ball comes free. How's that come out?
Well, they've got the penalty. They've got the turnover, regardless.
Yeah, so they're going to say knock on. There was, again, hands all over the ball, arms around it. You be the judge here on this one. But again, the ball just pops out.
Pops out, yeah. Not much in that, if anything.
No, once
Just
again.
Loose carry.
Entitled to hold on to it. Getting a little slippery, though, in the late going. The Bears running the hard crash line there, standing in the tackle, Dixon. Flanagan looks to the blind side. They come open with Priestley. Priestley standing in the tackle, and Heath was looming up on his inside. Flanagan. Dummies on the outside there, Drayton. He's hit hard by Salia. Plays it in the centre of the field, less than 10 out. Wedding goes the short pass there from Beckett. Beckett stands in the tackle, can't get the offload away. The Sharks do well in wrapping it up. Ball across now. Goes from Wedding, goes out wide, up, beating one. Standing in the tackle, Cooper. Cooper can't get the ball away. We'll play it back to Flanagan on 5. Wilmington, great pass! And it goes to Nathan
pass.
Dixon. And it's called forward.
It's too good. This is it here. Yeah, okay, yep, fair enough.
Yep, and I think a fantastic call from the official,
Yep.
right in line with it. On that replay, looks like a great call.
Another let off for the Sharks.
Well, they're just hanging on for mine. Well, it's only a 2-point margin, but they've been down this end of the field for quite some time, and the Bears controlling territory. Trying to change that with the boot. There might have been a little touch there, so he's got to get on this one. Does Packham. Gets hold of it and brings it back. The Sharks chase, well, there wasn't a lot of them. There was enough of them. The Bears, well, they're not up against a fast line there. Flanagan out of dummy half. He steps past a couple, runs into the shoulder of Salia. Salia comes over the top. Still gets a pretty quick play the ball. Salia gives a push on there to Harry Heath, and the referee has eventually penalised him. Well, he did everything he could to give away a penalty there, Tariq Salia. And eventually the referee obliges. So he'll hit the sideline, and the Sharks' defence to be tested again. Tap and go from Morecambe. Looks to step away from Mallard, but Mallard holds on. Flanagan dummies to the first underneath runner. The pass goes out from Drayton. Drayton, he takes the tackle. Wilmington looks outside, goes inside, goes himself, swan dive beside the post, and in a moment the Bears will lead by 8. That'll be the biggest lead of the night. He hasn't pointed to the spot just yet, though, the referee.
He's having a chat to his assistant, is he? I can't see anything here. What can you say? I can't see anything.
There's the potential for an obstruction.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yep.
I think the referee's happy with it. He's coming back to the mark. He's saying there's defensive decisions. No one's impeded. The Sharks are dejected. He's about to point to the spot. He's explaining his decision
Great
before
referee.
he does it.
And that is why he was the referee of the year in 2024. And Donnie, you called it well. It was just, they held on for dear life. What was that, 20 minutes probably? And change inside their own end. I think they're lucky that they've given up what will be 6 points. I was just about to say, you can't defensively, you can't just be taking tackle after tackle after. At some point it's going to break, and then eventually it did. They did well, I think, for that long to hold them out.
Yeah, certainly did. And the man stepping up to take the conversion attempt, Matt Wilmington, he's had his fingerprints on everything good the Bears have done. He set up the try a minute ago that was on the pass was called forward. And then this time he just decides to do it all himself. Just steps off the left, finds some lazy inside defenders. Just weren't there and went through.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's lazy. Yeah, but I mean, again, if you're defending for 20 minutes.
Fatigue is definitely a big factor. But the Bears have earned that fatigue.
100%.
They've just controlled it.
Absolutely, they've been and again, a bit of deja vu on. The Sharks were really impressive in the first, and they just haven't been able to back it up in the second. I know there's still time left, but this would be a significant advantage, and we could see that the bridesmaids of last year might be starting the year 2-0 or zip 2.
As expected, raises the flags, and it's the Litchfield Bears up 22-14 on the DABSCO scoreboard as we have another look at this try from Matt Wilmington. Just looks to the outside, steps off the left, and it just opens up. There's a few that have over-chased, getting held up a little bit there, Kai Alden, but referee, I think rightfully says that he made a defensive decision going to that Bears player. Big kick-off, well taken by Flanagan. Send Smith back into him. So doing everything he can here, Adam Hall. Just trying to wrestle Drayton back into his own in goal. It's a good run there from Beckett. And the Bears just looking to put on a completed set. Drayton again, his second run in this set. Runs into Celia and Hall. Just puts it up high. It's almost bounced on a Bears player's head. They've got it on the second bounce, and that'll still be the last in the handover. Well, I don't know whether that was quite the depth on the kick that they wanted in that situation.
Made some rain, but didn't make much territory. It's a handy lead, though, 8 points. They've scored, well,
there's
twice.
Not a lot of time left on the clock for them. If anything, the clock will beat them. But do they have enough juice in the tank to score once? If they can score once, they might give us that grandstand finish. Tommy Gunn, he's got plenty of juice in the tank. He always does. Mallard. Mallard wants to play the ball. Pass comes back to Field. Celia. He again runs that hard line at pace, pointing at the neck. Field. Field gets it out to Zarro. Zarro gets picked up. Calls for a penalty. He gets the penalty. No, he doesn't.
That might be the other field.
The other field.
Oh.
The little chip and chase. Sitting up. The Sharks players get to it. The Bears didn't. It's gone dead off the Sharks. and they come out to the 20-metre line. So they got to the ball. They couldn't ground it in the in goal, and now caught high. Well, was slipping in the tackle. I know the crowd's baying for blood, but he was slipped as he tried to step and got caught high.
Upfield at Warren Park. The brothers have gone over again, and they've extended the lead 20 to the Rabbitohs 6.
Well, the Bears, they want more. They want more before full time. At least Brodie Morecambe does. Plays the ball quickly with Smith. Smith plays it back to Flanagan. Short ball from Wedding. Well read, though, by the Sharks. Salia and Pearson. Good shot on Drayton. Now Burgess. Burgess put down. Plays the ball back to Flanagan. Flanagan goes out the back. Now it's with Priestley. Priestley stands. Gets the pass back to Dixon.
Oh.
Dixon slices through. Steps inside the fullback. And he'll put the icing on the cake. Nathan Dixon with a great individual try off the back of the offload from Brock Priestley. He explodes through, steps the fullback, and the Bears, it has been a scintillating second half.
You called it, Don. They wanted some extra points. Here's the offload. Had the arm free, ducks inside. Thought about, just for half a millisecond, thought about the offload to his left. Don't know why. He's plenty of space in front of him. Got himself a pie. And it has been a fantastic half for the men in red, and there's plenty to talk about. If you're in the Sharks camp, it's the second week in a row, 2 games in a row where they've just, I'm not going to say they've fallen asleep, they've just gone flat.
Yeah, they've run out of puff.
And at the start of the season, I mean, we're only 2 games in, but
well, yeah, they led 12-0 last week, gave up 20 unanswered points in the second half. They led 14-10 here tonight. And
don't forget that lead was in the last few minutes as well. So they finished the half very well. I mean, they should have gone in with all the momentum, but they just, maybe there's a fitness problem. Maybe they haven't done the work in the off-season.
Well, again, this conversion attempt, it's 16-0 in this second half, so that's consecutive scoreless second halves.
So that's 30.
Here we go.
Oh, there you go. What's my 32?
36 so far.
There you go.
36-0 in the 2 second halves.
That's not great.
For a quality team, and that's a big issue that they're going to need to address.
That first half as well last week against the Brothers. I mean, there was a clear drive in that first half. They came to play, obviously it was the grand final rematch. They wanted to prove something. You called it. I mean, how long could they have maintained that? They were physical, they were up in the face of the Brothers, they were giving them absolutely nothing. We see the try again, great step to the right. Again, I don't know why he thought about dishing it over there. No, don't worry about it, mate, go the line yourself, and as you did, a well-deserved try. But yeah, that's just, they signalled their first 40 at the start of the season really well, and then they've ended the last 80 minutes of the last 2 games quite poorly. 2 minutes apparently left on the clock, so we might have missed some red time.
A couple of minutes to go.
Could be more pain.
Well, there could be. That they are fading down the stretch. The game is beyond them, and the Bears will suddenly. It's amazing how you score a couple of tries and it gives you plenty of energy. They look like they could go all night. They probably will too.
It's that special pill, Donny. It gives you all this magical energy.
Well, I wouldn't want to be a beer in Mitchell Street tonight because the Bears will be all over it.
And they're going to start. Let's not forget they started the year 2-0, and the Sharks are starting 0-2. So they'll be up and about. And great to go into the break. Of course, it's an early break with Easter. It's great to go into break when you got 2 on the board.
Certainly is. As the Sharks with the ball up around halfway. Can they give themselves something to take into the break as well? Quick play the ball from Mallard. Can't fault his effort. The kick from Colley though. You can definitely fault that. That's gone out on the full by some margin. I'm not sure exactly what he was even trying to do with that kick. But whatever it was, I'm sure it wasn't that.
So just confirming at Warren Park, I think there's about 15 minutes left on the clock there. It is the Darwin brothers 20 leading the South Darwin Rabbitohs 6. So it looks like they'll be also starting the season with 2 wins, the defending premiers. As the siren goes, Donny.
And there it is, full time. The Litchfield Bears, they go to 2-0 in the DABSCO Premiership with a 28-14 win coming from 14-10 down at half time. 18-0 second half from the Litchfield side. 28-14, a very good second half, and I think we've spoken a lot about the Northern Sharks, but the Bears, they just ground the Sharks into the ground in that second 40.
It was a very good second 40. I thought at the first 40, I think some of their decision making and especially ball carrying left a little bit to be desired. Obviously, that was addressed at half time. Much cleaner in this second half, and they didn't try and overuse the ball in mind, Don. They just played some smart footy, and that last 25 minutes where the ball was just camped inside the Sharks' zone, and patient footy. We knew it was like some ESP between us. We knew at some point they were going to break it open. In the end, they piled on more points. But I thought the Sharks did really well to keep them out as long as they did. I think, given how long the ball was camped in their end, there could have been a lot more piled on.
Yeah, eventually they were going to break. That was always going to happen. For the Bears, try scorers Travis Packham, Nathan Dixon, Matt Wilmington, Jake Flanagan and Brock Priestley, while for the Sharks, Terrence Gillett, Samika Saylor and Matt Mallard made up their 14 points. Repeating the scoreline here in the DABSCO Premiership, the Litchfield Bears victorious, 28 points to 14. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back, in a couple of weeks after the break.
A couple of weeks for Anzac round. Join us then. It's been fantastic, Don. Good work.
See you then.